I don't want you to think that I think that you think that when I go that I'm making the sound. Obviously I'm not. It's a recording. It's a music track. Come on. All right. One moment, please. You see, at the very beginning of all of these things, what I do is I come over here and I tune into this broadcast myself on my iPad so that I can see your comments. The many hundreds of thousands of comments and questions that you send for this, the Law of Attraction Q&A with me, Bob Doyle. That's right. Featured teacher from the film The Secret and author of Wealth Beyond Reason and Follow Your Passion, Find Your Power, all about the law of attraction and implementing it in your everyday life. Because guess what? If it's not being intentionally implemented in your everyday life, you don't know what you're going to get, do you? I think you know what I'm talking about. Kobe's here and Marie Pierre too. Wow. Awesome. Okay, well, it's Friday. That's right. We did it. We did it. I think we deserve a round of applause. What do you think? It wasn't that hard, was it? It shouldn't be. It's supposed to be easy. I'm going to tell you what's up, Kobe. I'm going to tell you what's up. Time. Everybody's time. Everybody's time is up to join the group coaching program, which starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Did you see what I did there? I used what Kobe said, and I used it as an opportunity to tell you about what's happening tomorrow. So look, I'll get to that in just a moment. But I am talking about it because it happens tomorrow. That's right. And there are implications to all of that as well. So what we do here is I answer law of attraction questions. You see, so I show up, and then you show up, and then you share with everybody. Everybody. You can't think of enough people to share with. You're tweeting right now. You're sharing to groups, to pages, to events, to your timeline, everything you can think of to share. You might be actually writing certified letters to friends and family. You know what? That's overkill because by the time they get it, I'll be done. But you could send them to the replay. You know what? So go ahead and keep on writing. Hi, John. Nice to have you here. Rachel is here as well, and Sarah, and Matilda. Look, we've got Janet's here. What a great day. What a great magical day for all of us, right? Do you feel the magic? I feel it. I feel it all over the place. Here, I'm going to share it with you in mere minutes from now. You're going to see the magic scrolling by here. Right now, it's just a picture of me and a magnet. But any minute now, magic. That's right. Magic. So, did you guys see... Hi, Dawn and Jane. You know the movie... broadcast news from the 80s. Were all of us alive in the 80s? All of us here? Probably. Broadcast news, there's a scene, where they're live. Jack Nicholson is the anchor. They're live. They're telling a story. Meanwhile, in the editing room, they're frantically trying to put this last piece together. They're editing all the pieces. They're putting the music. They're doing the last things. And then the tape comes out of the editing things. And she's running it down the hall because he's just about to announce it, right? And they pull she trips over carts and things go spilling. And in the last exact second, he throws it to him live. And just when they hit the thing, and then the tape plays. Last second. You know what I'm talking about? That scene? That's this broadcast every time. It doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter how far in advance I plan it and schedule it. I'm always last second sitting here pushing buttons, frantically going, how did this happen again? Hi, Beth. And Nori as well. So while I wait for you to ask questions, and then you can ask anything, See, here's the thing. Here's what's crazy about what I do. See, I have no business sense, right? None. Because if I did, why would I constantly come on live Facebook and give you the best I've got? All the answers. Thoroughly answering your question, going as deep as I need to so you'll get the answers. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I say, well, here's the beginning of the answer, but if you really want the answer, you're going to need to buy this program, you're going to need to do this, whatever. Right? Why would I do that? Because I freaking love this subject matter. That's why. And it drives me, and the whole reason that people have confusion around the law of attraction is a bunch of half answers that people give. So to me, it's just give everybody the answers. The world will be a better place when we all start living our destiny, when we all start following our passion. If I know how to help people do that, why would I hold that back? Now, he said, well, Bob, what about this group coaching program? You're clearly charging for that. That's correct. Because I sit here and I give out this, I've got hours and hours of video on YouTube. Everything I know, everything that's in here is probably out there for free somewhere. I've got apps, I've got, the YouTube channel, I've got all these Q&As, hours and hours of information of all the tough questions, the hard ones, the really, really tough ones. There's nothing I don't answer. There's nothing I say, no, I'm sorry, you have to pay me extra for that. So what's with the group coaching? The group coaching is a structure. It's an organized way for you to take all of this information and implement it in your daily life with some structure, right? Knowing that you're starting off on the journey on the right foot, that you've got your vision firmly in place, that you know how to deal with and recognize resistance when it shows up, so that you can be reminded on a daily basis in a group that is there to support you and a facilitator who's there to recognize these things when your ego is flaring up and stopping you. Because I can give free information out all day, and I do. And you can take it and you can go, yes, that's great, thank you. And then, but if you have problems implementing it, that's normal. It's to be expected. Because there's a real reason why you have problems implementing. There's a real problem. No, there is a real problem. There's a reason that you have a problem implementing this stuff, because your ego, your sense of identity, does not want you to do any of this. And this is really the whole new theme of my work, ladies and gentlemen. Matilda, did you go? See, I've missed a lot of conversation because here I am yammering on. Oh, wait, that's why I'm here. Sorry, I'm supposed to do that. The point is that when we're off on our own, we can know a lot of stuff. We can refer to these Q&As. We can read books all day long. But when we go to implement, when we go to take action, we freak out. Our ego goes, what are you doing? And then it gets difficult, right? And all the knowledge that we have flies out the window, and we get frustrated with ourselves and go, I know better than this. Why am I doing this to myself? Does this sound familiar to anyone? Right? So, So I am happy as a clam to sit here every day and give you every piece of information I have in my head and address you personally on these live free Q&As. Now, I can't always go as deep as I need to necessarily move you through it on a live Q&A. That's why you would come into a group coaching program, so that you would have the personal attention for 90 days, right, to get it done. So I'm asking you, the big question in my description up here was, what are you doing tomorrow, right? What are you doing tomorrow? What's your plan for tomorrow? If you're not going to do group coaching, okay. So what are you going to do tomorrow? I would put you on the spot and say, what are you doing today? But I'm going to give you 24 hours to think about this. What are you going to do tomorrow? If you're not going to make a commitment to 90 days for yourself and create a vision and learn all the stuff and move through it and if you're not going to do that, what are you going to do? Because if you're here, you're listening, you're curious, you're a law of attraction, you at least have a passing interest, right? So what are you going to do tomorrow that will move you into vibrational alignment with your vision? Do you have your vision yet? Do you know where you're going to? Do you know the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? Again, I'm assuming that most people watching this know what I just did there. Yeah. So what's your plan? I'm curious. So this is a question for those of you who aren't joining us in the group coaching program tomorrow at 9, because I know what they're doing. They're coming in at 9 a.m. and we're going to start doing this. Actually, we've already started with the people who've already joined. There are people in this room right now, I think. Yes, who are in the 90 days that starts tomorrow, and they will tell you, Marion, have we not already hit the ground running in there? Is it cray up in there already? We've already got this great sense of enthusiasm and fun. It's crazy in there already. I mean, in a great way is what I mean. It is the energy, the intention, the excitement. We've already started doing some coaching in there, but tomorrow is the first official session. So you're not late. But anyway, so what are you going to do tomorrow? Are you going to sit down and work on your vision? Are you going to spend time crafting it, making sure that it's in alignment with who you are and what your purpose and passions are? Making sure that it's not based on, problems that you want to solve or any limitations in the past, that it's truly a big and expansive and inspiring vision? Maybe you'll do that tomorrow. Or maybe you already know what that is, and maybe you'll spend some time meditating, or maybe you've already meditated a little bit and you've gotten this intuition, this intuitive nudge of some action to take. Maybe you'll take that action tomorrow instead of like putting it off or going, oh, I don't know how will this, I'm a little scared. What if they, because that's what some people do, but maybe not you. Maybe tomorrow you'll get up and you'll just take that action because, you have to. If the universe gives you some nudging, and if you truly want that thing you want, right, well, then you take the action. You're having problems taking action? Well, but yeah, I could help you, but okay, 9 o'clock tomorrow, you can be there. I can help you. Look, I know I'm kidding around a little bit. I'm having some fun with the fact that it starts tomorrow and I want you in there. But it really is a serious question. I know I'm playing with you. Because I want you to have the same results as the other people who are in this group right now. So I'm doing that, but I'm also very serious. Because most of us, a lot of people, we don't spend time focusing on our vision, thinking about where we're going. And I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm talking about being in vibrational alignment, being very clear on where you're going and why. And we don't do that, and therefore we're not taking action toward it. What we're taking action on every day, we're dreaming. Here's what those people are doing. One day I'm going to figure out what I want to do, or one day I'll get that thing. One day I'll go there. But then that's where it stops. There's no real moving into, okay, so what's the next step? Because we've got it in our minds that before we can do any of that, before we can even think about that, we have to solve all of this. That's what we believe, right? It's like, well, I'll take care of myself when I've got this stuff handled. Well, no, you probably won't. Because if all of your attention is on the stuff you got to handle, and if that's your way of life, if the way that you believe is you can't have until you fix these problems, guess what? Guess what? Here's how the law of attraction works. Your mind, your focus, your vibration is all around the problems that you have that you've got to solve before you can put your mind on your vision. If that's where your thoughts are, if that's where your energy and emotions are, that's what you're going to attract. So you will never, ever get done with this when your total focus is this and you don't know where you're going next. Because here's the thing, your ego is the one who's making this very difficult. Thank you for the emojis. I love the feedback. I like seeing it out of the corner of my eye. Makes me know you're breathing, since I can't hear you breathing. Joanna says, so Bob, what is the best thing to do and to get into alignment to connect with your inner being and hear the call forward? So Joanna, are you clear on your vision? That's the very first thing. Are you clear on your vision? What is that? I just saw some weird, I guess it was, it was somebody's icon. Sorry. Anyway, got distracted. Joanna, are you clear on your vision? Because if it's vague, if it's sketchy, then that first thing you got to do, that's the first thing you have to do. Because it's that vision that's going to pull you from this. So if you are not clear, if you don't know where you're going, then there's no way for you to take action on your way to get there. And the universe won't give you any information towards that because you haven't told the universe anything yet. Except, I've got all these problems I have to solve before I can even think about this. So what you're saying is, I've got all these problems to solve, I 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 got all these problems to solve. And you've got that emotional energy going the whole time. And somewhere in there is this little tiny energy of, but I want more. But you don't give yourself the time to think about it. Or you daydream a little bit, and the daydream is filled with feelings of, but I'll never get it because I've got all these problems to solve. Yeah, I'm telling you. See, when you know how the law of attraction really works and get all the woo-woo and all this other stuff, and especially if you can get your mind away from this thought that the universe is making decisions for you, is wanting something for you or not wanting something for you, when you can get rid of all of that and see it's just a freaking it's response. It's an energetic response. We as human beings have this amazing ability to be consciously intentional with how our energy is. Like we get to choose. We get to choose how we feel. We get to choose that. And as a result, that changes our vibration, which means that we can move into alignment with whatever we want by based on our feelings and our predominant vibration. But our feelings are permeated with all kinds of crap, the limiting beliefs and all of those disappointments and the fears and the worries that we've accumulated during the course of our life. And it's messing with our vibration, so we can't send a clear signal. So we have to clear that crap out. And depending on who you are and how long you've been on this planet and the stuff you've been through, it could take a little bit of time. But you got to start. So maybe you'll start that tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow you'll learn all about release techniques. And you'll get intentional about identifying where your areas of resistance are, where that voice is that comes up in your head and says, no, you can't do that. And here's why. Maybe you'll at least take the time to put on paper and out of your head, because in your head it all sounds real. In your head, when your ego says, this is your limitation, you go, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me that I can't have what I want. Whew, I almost went for it. Get that stuff out on paper. It's different when you're looking at it, especially if you put it side by side with what your vision is and how important it is to you and why you must do it. And then you start to see all these little whiny excuses over here that your ego makes seem real big and true in your head. And you go, what am I doing? Why am I listening to this? So maybe you'll do that tomorrow. So let me see. I'm going to go back now. I'm going to read your comments. I'm going to scroll, so you'll see me scrolling, and I'm going to see what you said you're going to do tomorrow, because I'm sure you must have answered. Let's see. Hi, Ephraim is here. See, he's done coaching with me. So Marion is going to be in the group coaching class with me. That's what she's going to do. Sorry, you can't see the comments. It cycles every 30 seconds. It's just the way it works. But Marion's going to be in the group coaching. And Beth is going to be listening to some guy named Bob. That's me. Okay, see what she did there? She will also be in the group coaching tomorrow, as will Beth, who is also here. Thank you, Calte. I know I'm not saying your name correctly, and I apologize for that. Terry is here, and Ryan is. Terry is a former group member as well. Hi, Dawn, Paul. Let's see. Now, hold on a second. I just went through all of these answers, and nobody told, except for the people who are taking the group coaching. Nobody told me what you're doing tomorrow to get closer to your vision. So did I ask? I thought for sure I asked that. Dawn, we can't once we get started. Once we get started, we gotta kind of close it up. You know what I mean? It's because it's an intimate group in there. We share a lot of personal stuff. We're working on our deep stuff. And we're sharing a lot of who we are and so on and so forth. And so it's just really important that we get people in as close to the beginning as we can. I have in the past let people come in after the first session, but not past that. So Steve says he's going to write down things he's grateful for tomorrow. Now that is a good way to spend your time. Maybe you guys could do that. Matilda says, I did, and I don't know what she's talking about. Matilda, also a former group member. Twice over. And a wonderful piano player, I might add. This is one of the great things about being in the group is we kind of get to share what we're up to and what makes us tick. It's important to do that. It's important to I've got a whole new exercise. I've got lots of new stuff for the group this time. Lots of new stuff. Because of the shift in focus to really the ego. Because that's really the challenge. When it comes right down to it, it comes up against this ego and not wanting to change. It's all, right? The only reason we don't take action on things is because we tell ourselves not to, right? Well, it's not us telling us. It's not our essence. It's not our true self. It's not what, it's the ego. It's that identity piece that we've created from limiting beliefs that we've collected throughout our lives. So it's all about dismantling that. It's not about killing the ego, but it is about dismantling some of those, at least taking the energy out of those old conversations. And that's what this work is about. And so a lot of the exercises and things we're going to be doing during this 90 days are going to be more directed towards that. So, but gratitude, acknowledging your awesomeness, this is all a part of it, right? I think there's a lot, because there's people, I'll go ahead and share with you that in this group, I know for a fact we're going to be focusing on abundance issues and self-care. And maybe some other things, but in the conversation that we've had so far, it's clear that abundance and self-care, physical fitness, losing weight, whatever, that kind of stuff, that's all, because it's all a part of who we are and what we're up to and who we want to be in the future. So self-care is huge. It's huge. So I'm thrilled that that's one of the things that we're taking on here. Oh, Matilda says she's going to go to the library. Oh, and she has exciting news that she wants to share later. It's a cliffhanger, ladies and gentlemen. Right, Kobe says it's not our essence telling us not to. That's the word I was looking for, our essence or whatever. It's our old conversations from the ego that need upgrading. Look, anytime you hear a voice that tells you you can't do something towards your dream, I promise you that's not coming from your essence. It's not. So it's coming from elsewhere. It isn't true. But man, oh man, do we believe it. Because a lot of times, because of the action we've taken as a response to this voice believing it's true, we get results that would indicate that it's true. But it's just because we took action that is congruent with the limiting belief. See? So we bag that limiting belief and we take action that's congruent with possibility and vision, and we get a different result. It's so simple. Steve says, do you have people introducing themselves with videos again? Of course I do. Of course I do. We get to know each other in the group. We have face-to-face relationships. And what I really love is that there are people from other parts of the world who have met up from these past groups. Because it's such a close-knit family that we create in there in a pretty short period of time. We haven't even started tomorrow, but because the majority of the people who are in the group were in the groups before, which I keep pointing at that, thinking it's got to speak to some of you. Our wonderful friend Leanne has joined us for the third time. Is that right? Maybe the second time. I get confused because it's all just, but the point is we've got people joining us for the third time, which means, well, you know what it means. It means they enjoyed it and they're excited about starting it. And I would love to have you in there too. I wish you could join too, Dawn, but Julie, a dear friend of mine, has joined. Look, there's the word right there, join. I told you she did. I wouldn't lie to you. Yes, and Kobe says it feels true. Talking about the ego, what the ego says. And how annoying is that? It's really annoying. And I'm seeing it like in the group. Here's the thing, because we're starting tomorrow, the ego is really escalating. So some of the conversations in the group right now are, I can see it. It's a lot of self-deprecating language. Oh, I keep doing this or I keep doing that, right? That kind of stuff. Because the ego is really escalating because it knows, because it's right there with you, right? You're about to take on a major change. So it's throwing everything it's got, but it's too late. See, they've already joined. The ball is in motion. And then for some of them, it's the momentum that has been continuing. That's right. And Marie-Pierre and Leanne met up for real, both from the group, separate groups at first, and then together. Anyway, it's just a great thing. So what else are you, Marion says her ego tried to keep from joining. Yeah, I know that happened to a couple of people. Leanne said the same thing. It's, like I've been passing this little video around about the ego is fighting for its life. 106 shares I saw this morning. That's pretty impressive. 106 shares, something in the thousands of views, because it's key. And I think it really, If that can click for you, if you can understand that you've got this part of your identity that doesn't want you to change, and that's why implementing all of these things that you've been learning and want to believe and want to implement are so difficult. Because it is, when you make this kind of commitment, it's truly a life changer. It's because you're going to be changing not just the circumstances of your life, but who you are at the very core. Not the essence of you, that's always been there, but who you're being, who you are being. Right? Because it's who you're being, truly. Not just the movement, the action, the outer stuff you're doing. Because you can be something else and do the actions of a completely different person. Right? And when you are congruently being who you are, and you'll attract accordingly. But if who you're being is a person who keeps beating themselves up or having self-doubt or keeps, looking at all the faults that they've had or the mistakes they've made in the past, well, you're just going to keep attracting that. So as much as your ego wants to tell you to keep saying those things to yourself because it's quote unquote true and you just need to take responsibility for the fact that you were this or da 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 da, right? That's the part where the ego sounds like it makes sense. Put it on paper. I think what you should do is draw a little tiny, crazy looking figure. Little tiny, I can't show you the paper because it gets all blown out. Just imagine that instead of that voice, I'm just trying so you can personify the ego a little bit more accurately. The ego is a child version of you. I've said this before a lot, and I'll say it again a lot. Because most of these limitations that you've learned that have carried along with you were basically born. They were seeded when you were young, and you started getting different ideas about limitations from wherever you got them. So you've grown up. The voice, the words that your ego uses have matured a bit, but the fear and the worry and the anxiety and the limitation is very childlike. It's very fearful. So you're really dealing with a child. You are, because somewhere right there, wherever the trauma or traumas were, when you were young, your ego decided, nope, protection. We don't want any of this. This is uncomfortable. So we're not going to take any risks. We're not going to cross any lines. We're not going to take any chances. And God knows we're not going to aspire to have what we want in our life because that's just not going to happen, right? So those are formed on a subconscious level, and you grow up, and then you see The Secret, and you want that change because everybody wants to be who they really are. The whole reason that people were so moved by The Secret, was because it called to something so deep within us that we know is true. That we are here to live a life that we have the ability to orchestrate. We have all the pieces in place. We are such a unique creation. Humans, with our consciousness and our imagination and our ability to visualize and all of these extraordinary things that we have categorized and in such a way that we just take them for granted and don't give them the acknowledgement. These gifts that we have to truly just create what we want. So we hear about these things and it calls to us, and so it awakens something within us and says, oh yes. But that's when that little scared child wakes up and goes, no risks, and then starts taking on the adult language. Well, you remember when you failed over here, and remember what they said, and this person won't like you if you do that, and all those other things. What if you fail? But it's really just a little kid going, here's a thing. And that's what's ruling you. Bummer. You're an adult. It's time for you to look down at that child and give it some love and show it another way. Because, the ego can evolve. It can. The whole idea of thinking of it as the enemy is not good. We don't want to be fighting with a part of ourselves. It is our identity. The identity. It's not the essence of who we are, okay, but it's created this identity. And if we're not satisfied with that identity, if we're not feeling fully expressed, if we're feeling like we're holding ourselves back from things, then we get to change that. We get to define it however we want. And as we change who we are and who we're being, things might change. Relationships might evolve, they might go away, but new ones will come and take their place to support who you're going to be next and for the rest of your life, or until you want to evolve into something else. We've been given a pretty, in general, we as humans have been given a pretty long time to play on this playground. We've been given plenty of opportunities to make mistakes and learn and correct our course. But a lot of people make the mistakes, and the lesson they learn is that, oh, I guess I just make mistakes. Instead of, no, remember when you were learning to walk and learning how to do everything, you made mistakes until you got awesome at it or good at it or however, whatever level of proficiency you want to be. Life, like, it's no different. It's no different. You will make a little mistake, if you want to call it that, but really all it's doing is you're taking an action and getting feedback. And you're going, this feedback isn't the feedback that I was looking for. What can I do to change what feedback I get? And that's why you would join something like this, to know, to get ideas, to get feedback, reframes. When people come, look, how many times have you argued for your limitation? No, I can't. I'm telling you I can't. Right? And then sometimes it just takes somebody else outside of you to say one certain thing, to give you a slightly different way of looking at it, and then you go, oh, and there's possibility for something else. But if you don't expose yourself to the other people or to the feedback, you never get that. And so you just continue to solidify this limited egoic identity, not take action, and wonder why the hell the law of attraction isn't working. Matilda says, yesterday I thanked my ego for the job it done, and it told me to take the rest of the week off. All right, trying to catch up on your... So Marion says, I'm not consistent. It drives me crazy. So this is the languaging, the it drives me crazy. I'm seeing a lot of that in the group right now, like this day before we start. People are calling attention to the things about themselves that they don't like. It drives me crazy. You know, am I getting nowhere? Do I have a problem, right? All of this, the ego's just screaming all of this stuff. And so, and it's screaming so loud that they are vocalizing it or typing it or whatever. They're like affirming it in writing, right? Which the ego will justify. Well, you're just telling them what you're feeling, which is true. And so I don't ever mind when somebody will come into a coaching situation and give me, pages of limitation, right? Here's my limiting story. I don't mind hearing that once. I'll tolerate it a couple of times because I know it's hard to change it. But the thing is that the only reason you should tell that story to somebody is if you're now willing to take feedback from that person you're telling and make a change in your behavior so that story can change. But a lot of people just say, no, this is my story and I love freaking telling it. Because it gets me out of doing all this stuff. Because it explains why I won't take action, you see. Or it acknowledges, look, I'm acknowledging that I don't take action. So that's pretty good, right? Guys, I do it too. Everybody does it. But it's just about seeing it and observing it or letting someone else see it. You with me? Marion is ready to change, which I totally believe, because she got past the egoic resistance towards joining the program and did it anyway. And now she's in there and she's already, we're already on our way. Okay, let's see. I'm still looking for what's everybody doing tomorrow for themselves. I'm going to see if something will work here. I don't know if it will. It's all about whether or not you'll hear the audio. So I'm going to just play something real quick for myself.
So from going to Bob.
Good. It works. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. Oh, but I'll bet you it's going to... Well, hopefully it doesn't feedback. So this is Leanne.
So from going to Bob's thing, the first thing I've ever done was some skepticism to where I am now, which is only 3 months later, which seems insane that it's only 3 months. I'm just so glad I did. I really, I've been looking for ways to feel better in my life for so many years and kind of hitting the walls and getting so far and then being knocked down again and not really understanding how the hell to get from here to there, or I'd started to abandon my dreams because they seemed too impossible. So I'm so glad I did this. It was my first time. It was the best thing I ever did for myself.
Best thing she ever did for herself. And she's back for part, whatever, for her. Getting ready for another 90 days. And I'll bet you, I know that you guys can relate to that. Hey, everybody, I just wanted to show you a few of the things that I will stop talking about. Sorry, let me get back to where I belong. There. Sorry, professional broadcasting. And look, there are many more stories like that on this page if you want to hear from other people who have done it. You've heard from people talking in the comments. If you're reading the comments from the people who've done it, I really am. And here's the thing. Tomorrow, since it starts, I'm not going to be doing as many of these free Q&As. There's plenty of stuff that you can look at, obviously, in the archives. I'm not taking it all down. So like I said, there's so much free information out there. It is just redonkulous. But after tomorrow, I'm going to be pretty busy with these folks. I would love to hang out with you as well. If you want a little bit more information on the group coaching, you got like hardly any time left, but you can type group info into the comments here. Group info, hit return, type yes when prompted, and you'll get some information. But just go to this page, and that's really where the answers are. And then what you do is you scroll down to the bottom and you pick your enrollment option. We've got payments, we've got deferred payments where you don't even have to pay for 6 months if you qualify through PayPal credit. So there's all sorts of creative ways to get in financially. It's really about your commitment to yourself. That's the most important thing. How bad do you want it? And what action are you going to take? And if you're not going to join us tomorrow, I'd really hope that you will do something that will bring you into vibrational alignment with that vision you desperately want. And if you don't know what that vision is, that you begin working on it immediatamente. I will see some of you tomorrow.